boys and girls, children of all ages. It is I, your former Ramblemania champion, Katie Kaboom, and I am here with the one, the only, the man, the TJ the Great! TJ the Great One.
You damn right. And
Man.
once again, I am dragged into WWE. Explain yourself, Katie.
Well, it was either that or probably kill Hazel in the process of recording.
Which we can't have because we need Hazel for Raw and Impact and all the other stuff he does. So, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, so we got the best of both worlds here. We got one half of Banter Club in the motherfucking building. I'm still salty that I lost, though, but at least 6-1.
MJF fucked up my parlay. So
Yo! But why? But William Regal, why?
William Regal fucked up my whole ticket in that match was fucked up. So shout out DraftKings.
Like, I knew MJF was gonna win. I just didn't expect him to turn on fucking Moxley.
Yeah, Regal turning on Mox was, I mean, again, like I said on the pay-per-view, I don't love it, but I guess we will have to see what happens, what unfolds on the TV. Let me give it a chance.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, because of this, I feel like it will drag people now to see why MJF got the title and how, I definitely would want to see why, especially because, the powers that be internet service want to be bitches.
I mean, it's a hook. Like, it's an exciting hook. Like, oh my, like MJF won the title and William Regal betrayed his club. Like, William Regal was the one to get Mox and Danielson together. So why would he betray Mox? Like, it's a bunch of questions that will hopefully be answered on Wednesday. So they got hooked.
You never know. It could be a crisscross.
Crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, man. They've done it before.
But I mean, we already crisscrossy with the Regal swerve. You getting double crisscrossy?
Listen, maybe we were crisscrossy when Paul Heyman swerved on Brock Lesnar, and then you saw him go back to Brock, and then back to Roman, and then back to Brock.
Yeah, he did do that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this story fits that. But then again, I guess I don't know what fits this story because I didn't think Regal turn in fit the story, but a lot of other people did, and he turned. So I guess we got to see.
I mean, I feel like the internet was saying MJF better win or they ride. Literally, I saw memes. I was like, it's not that serious. So.
That was the main sentiment. People wanted MJF. Like even when we were watching the show, shout out our boy Johnny Autism Wrestling. He asked us in the chat, do you think MJF, he should have won the title already? But me and Six were both like, no. Like, I think this is the exact right time for him to be winning the title. Like, I don't think they waited too long. I think they did the exact right thing. They made the exact right push and capitalized it on the exact right time.
They put them up the right, like, out of all the wrestlers they have right now, and I'm not trying to throw shade to any promotion, but if we're going to talk about building someone, they really did good with MJF.
Yeah.
They gave you what you want to see in a heel, and, like, he even had his moments where, he kind of pushed the envelope just so he can make sure the story is correct, Yeah.
I mean, and I've said, like, and we've said, look at him from the beginning of the company to now and how much he's evolved and how much he's improved.
He's also matured.
And yeah, how much he's matured. Like, he's absolutely built himself up into a world champion level guy. So yeah, this is exactly all the tea leaves falling where they should, as they should with MJF. But we're here to talk about WWE, so I can't have too much fun getting into all this AEW hoopla. We got SmackDown on tap.
I mean, listen, SmackDown been doing good too. I did want to get into that whole best of 7 series before we went to SmackDown.
Yeah, the best of 7 was a crazy announcement, and again, I was still like, wait, this was the first match? That was the thing that threw me off. That the pay-per-view match was retroactively the first in a best of 7 instead of them announcing that beforehand. But I guess I guess the Elite had to come back into existence first.
I mean, first of all, I dead saw it when they had that match that the Death Triangle was going to be kind of a transitional championship, and that this match was going to be the one to give it back to the Elite. And I just feel like even with the best of the 7, I feel like the Elite's still going to come out on top of it.
I do too initially, and I also thought the Elite were going to win at the pay-per-view just because I thought they were the original Trios champions, and then they got suspended. So that was the original plan. So they just go back to the original plan. But no, they didn't. They came up with something else. And I liked how they played into the story they've been telling with Death Triangle over the past few weeks, where Pac has been like, "Yo, use the hammer, Phoenix. Use the hammer." Phoenix is like, "No," and then at the pay-per-view, finally used it. So I liked all that.
Hammer.
Yeah, it's hammer time. Phoenix said it was hammer time, and he shuffled on his ass. A little bit of the quick news before we head on to SmackDown.
Oh, we forgot one last piece of news, a very side news.
Oh yes,
our man, we need a moment of silence for our man Tommy Oliver, aka Jason David Frank.
Yeah, man. Like I this is still fresh, so I'm still in processing the whole thing.
I found out when it happened. Like my boy was on has his own podcast and was close, I believe, to either a trainer or something, but he knew before anyone else that he was dead. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Mind you, I'm up 3 a.m. taking care of Mello, so I have the time for this.
Yeah.
He's showing me the different messages that were being posted up. Like there was a story that had a message from Jason David Frank telling somebody I love you, and he wrote, "It's too soon for you to be gone. I wish I saw this message sooner."
Yeah. I think that was what's his name? That played Justin in Turbo. Blake Foster. Yeah.
If people don't know who we're talking about, Jason David Frank played the original Green Ranger, the White Ranger, a lot of other Rangers in the Power Ranger series. He is an accomplished MMA fighter, and he's been a staple in the comic entertainment world since 1993, when he first debuted on Power Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, if you lived through the 90s at any point, then you definitely remember how big Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was, and he was the face of it. And arguably to this day was and is the face of it.
Like,
and
the Red Ranger was always jealous of fucking Tommy Oliver.
He was the man. He came in and was the strongest Ranger, and then became the leader. And
he said, "Fuck your shit."
Yeah, he said, "This shit mine now. Like I'll beat y'all asses for 5 episodes. Of course, this shit mine now. This shit all mine." He was like back in the day, watching that stuff was like some of the coolest stuff I ever saw on TV.
It's all on Netflix right now.
I was watching it last night before I went to bed.
I was watching a little bit of it too. I'm like,
I was like, I gotta throw on some Mighty, because I was like, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll usually throw on something to background noise and then put the sleep timer on my TV. And last night I was looking for something. I was like, gotta be Power Rangers, gotta do it for Tommy. And yeah, man,
it's very sad. It also shows like how, and not only just the world we're in of entertainment, but just in general, how men's mental health is important, and how a lot of people really don't talk about shit or reach out until it's too late.
Yeah, because like Jason David Frank, by like every possible account, was a guy who was like, and you see it in all the people sharing their memories of him. Like you just see the words energetic, great personality, all those types of things pop up. And like he was just like such a pillar and a great guy for people to be around. So for him to like take that in public and then internally be struggling with depression and whatever he was going through that led him to doing this, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's real tough. So
our hearts go out to the family from the Ramblemania family and the Raw Zone family. And unfortunately, the curse of the Power Rangers.
It's like with this, like I'm still not over Kevin Conroy. Like
they didn't give us enough time to. They really didn't give us enough time.
It's like two pillars on my Saturday mornings as a kid. Just
our childhood got destroyed.
yeah, it's a rough situation. Check on your millennial friends. We are not okay.
Yeah, no. And a lot of people, the worst part is, they think we're old.
Right. I guess stuff like this is the proof and the signs that we are getting old. When we're in our 30s and our childhood heroes are just passing away back to back like that.
You would think being wrestling fans we would kind of be used to this, knowing all the overdoses our favorite wrestlers did back in the day, and killing themselves. Cough off, Chris Benoit, cough off.
In a way, I like separate. I guess I separate wrestling from like the rest of entertainment because like it's so different and so crazy in so many ways. But also like that, like so many wrestlers die of the drug uses and the overdoses and things like that. So you kind of accept as a wrestling fan that that's a thing that happens in our industry. It's never okay, but you accept that it's a thing that happens. It's more shocking outside of it, I suppose.
And he was an MMA fighter, so you would think
all about staying fitness and being healthy, and so not to my knowledge any drug use or anything like that. So it's
And the worst, like we're still waiting to see what caused, like the world wait, like it's still not even confirmed on all platforms yet that he died.
Yeah, like because I was up that night. It was like 2-3 in the morning when I had started seeing that on Twitter, and people were like, "Yo, the Green Ranger died," and I was like, "What?" But then, like, there was no confirmation, like no TMZ.
Until TMZ did it.
Yeah,
but even with TMZ, there's not a lot of confirmation after that.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of information. Like, it was just a confirmation, I guess, through his people that yes, he is gone. So, like, I went to bed and I was like, "Yo, I hope that's not true. I hope I wake up and it's revealed that was a hoax." But then I woke up and yeah. I guess one more little bit of news before we get to the show. Let's talk about the rating for the show. I got the rating.
You got the ratings? You got the ratings?
I got the ratings. SmackDown down 1%, so negligible. It's still a very good number. 2.2 million viewers, a 5, 6, and 18 to 49 key demographic, which is number 1 on all of television. So again, SmackDown is the highest rated wrestling show on television. It is number 1. It is WWE's flagship, and it continues to do well post Vince McMahon. So with the TV deals coming up, we broken record with that shit. With TV deals coming up, they're in good position. They're in very good position.
It's weird, right? Because everyone used to say Raw was the flagship show.
Yeah. But when once SmackDown went to Fox, like Fox is the bigger channel, has the bigger reach.
Who's the B show now,
Hazel? That's right. You got a 3-hour B show every Monday, but I mean, hey, people have said it's gotten better under Triple H.
So. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it actually has, right? I don't still fucking understand this Survivor Series.
Yeah, the War Games. I imagine there's going to be a lot of people for whom this is going to be their first War Games, so like, they're not going to be understanding of the concept either, really.
But my thing is, right? So I originally thought that there was 2 teams from the women's side, 2 teams on on SmackDown and Raw, right? That will fight each other, and that one of those teams will fight on behalf of SmackDown and Raw, and that's how they'll do like their War Games, and the same thing for the men. But then when Muffin told me that there's 2 teams, Raw has only the women that have 2 teams, and the men's have their own 2 teams. So it's the Brutes and Drew McIntyre versus the Bloodline and Sami Uso. Your boy Sami Uso.
My dogs.
Your dog.
You gotta stop that, yo. But yeah, the Triple H. I guess they're not doing brand supremacy this year, which I actually prefer. I am a outspokenly against fucking Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series because I don't think it means anything. The shows aren't different enough. It's they're all on the same shows anyway for the most part. Like, what is there to make me care about the concept of Raw versus SmackDown? It's
But
the
see,
same
if
shit.
you were gonna do that and do a War Games, you might as well have brought in NXT and do that again.
Yeah, but then I guess that makes it a 3-way, which is even crazier to manage. But I don't mind the idea of just taking 2 existing feuds. I think that's what you should do. Take a feud that warrants War Games. Don't just do it because it's November. That's technically why they're doing it. But don't just do it because it's the time of year. Build a feud to it. And I think that's kind of what they're
What do
trying
you
to
mean,
do.
like Veterans Day type of shit?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know how with WWE, like they have their gimmick matches set during certain times. So they just, once it's time for that match, they'll just throw everybody in the match. But I prefer when you like build a feud, like the Bloodline has been feuding with, I guess, the Brawlin Brutes for however long. So now it's spread to War Games. Like, I prefer that type of thing instead of it's that time of year. Let's fight in this match.
I personally was always a fan of jumping onto different brands and everyone being the living fuck out of each other. I miss that. I'm not gonna even lie.
I don't mind. I don't like, again, if you do the brand thing to where you actually differentiate the brands and make it matter and keep them apart, and like there's a difference between Raw and SmackDown, like then I could get into it. But it's Team WWE Red versus Team WWE Blue, which is like, who am I supposed to cheer for? Why should I care? Why am I invested in this? But yeah, SmackDown did good in the ratings. Rampage did decent. They did better. They did a 1-4 in 18 and 49.
Actually, I actually watched Rampage that night too.
I did too. Rampage was very good, actually, I thought.
It kept me engaged.
Yeah, I loved the Akiyama Takeshita Kingston and Ortiz match, and I love how they set it up to build to the 1-on-1 with Eddie Kingston and Jun Akiyama. Athena hitting Aubrey. that was my understated moment of the week. Like, because that's flying under the radar, but I think that was a crazy moment. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on Rampage. I like Rampage a lot.
Tonight's episode of WWE SmackDown aired from the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. In the name of the Ramblemania gods, Bob Marley, and whoever else approved of this. And if they don't, who gives a fuck? We are here to ramble in the Raw Zone. Let's go. Ramble Zone.
Let's do this. We are in the Ramble Zone. It is Friday Night SmackDown from Hartford, Connecticut. They at home. They in home field. Connecticut, that's where they stay. We open with the Brawlin Brutes
And
coming
Drew
down to the ring.
McIntyre.
Yes, and Drew McIntyre. I always forget that the Brawlin Brutes are faces. Like, because they came out, they're all happy and slapping hands with the crowd, and people are cheering. I'm like, wait, they're faces? Oh yeah, they're faces. We recapped last week where Sheamus returned to brawl with the Bloodline, and Drew joined them, and that's all a big setup for War Games next week, where it's going to be the Bloodline versus the Brawlin Brutes.
I mean, in reality, he came back from getting married.
Yeah, he was getting married, which he mentions in this promo. He got married in New York City, which shout out.
Oh, he had a pretty wedding too. If you looked on the Instagram, I was like, okay, Sheamus.
It's funny because like I was sitting here thinking like, why do you get married in New York City? But like we're from here. To us, this is not a wedding destination. But Sheamus is.
When you think about it, with other people who fly around, like, okay, this does actually kind of look nice.
Yeah. Like if you're someone who's not from here and you travel frequently, I can understand how you'd be like, let's get married in New York City. So yeah, shout out to Sheamus. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations, Sheamus. But he grabbed a mic and he reminded everyone of his 20-year rivalry. Sheamus called McIntyre a broody, and there's no one he would rather be in the trenches with than him. McIntyre said if there's someone he could go to war with, it's his brother. And Ridge screamed that tonight is fight night. And Butch yelled at that at the Survivor Series War Games.
War Games. I gotta ask though, real quick, because the crowd started chanting Usi for no reason during this. They just started chanting Usi. And Sheamus and Drew had to look around like, okay. And then they had to roll with it. Are y'all not tired of Usi yet? Is y'all still y'all fucking with Usi still?
Are you not feeling Usi today? Is that what it is?
I don't remember here. I don't watch WWE. So my main exposure to the whole Usi phenomenon has mainly been through Twitter. Like I've seen clips and stuff on Twitter and people saying it on Twitter. And I feel like people have been going so ham with it on Twitter. I feel like we're like almost at the sell by date.
It's funny because I said the same shit, and like it's not really on like the wrestling chats as much as it is like it used to be. Like like on Facebook, you don't really see the word Uzi on it. So, but I feel like the fans are just gonna try to hype it up regardless.
Because I'm saying, like, I know, like, for people who are watching and are locked in on this shit, they've been Uziing out their minds for the past couple weeks, ever since he said it. So I'm wondering, y'all not tired of that yet? Y'all still rocking with that? Okay.
I mean, I do it to bother Ramon.
You're feeling Uzi?
I'm like, are you something wrong? You feeling Uzi today?
Well, that's funny. But yeah, then Sami Zayn interrupts them all, and he's like, my dogs. Your dogs. Him and my dogs, all right? My dogs. You got to chill. And then the crowd again just starts chanting Uzi. But now it makes sense because he's here. But Sammy's like, listen, the Bloodline, we don't care who the fifth guy is. We're feeling good. We're feeling great.
They should have.
They should have what?
They should have been afraid.
They should have been afraid. Yeah, that's what Sheamus says. He's like, I'm glad you're so confident, fella. But when you find out who the fifth guy is, you're going to crap your pants because it's someone you'll never expect. When he said that, I immediately thought of Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah. I thought of Kevin Owens just in general because if anyone could take... Remember, was I talking about this with you at one point? But I feel like I was talking about this to someone. Kevin Owens coming into the fold is going to be the rift into the Sami Uso.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that.
No, it was with you.
I think the last time I did the SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah, so depending how Survivor Series goes will be the catapult because Roman doesn't like losing.
Doesn't. That's his thing. He's the chief. He always wins.
Exactly. And on the island of relevancy, we can't fail. And the rest of them are blood. You could be disposed of.
Man, so I guess we'll see what happens come War Games. But yeah, this was, 10-minute talking segment. Probably should have been 5, but such is life.
I mean, they got to do it to get the audience.
Yeah. I know the formula. I mean, I know what it is. But now our first match. SmackDown World Cup, Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali. I just wanted to say everything about Ricochet's entrance makes me sad.
Listen, man, I'm still mad about Ricochet, first of all.
Why?
It's such a generic fucking real name.
Trevor, man.
You don't understand how mad I got. So, where you're from, it doesn't make no difference to me. But the fact is, I sat there thinking you was like some Captain Puerto Rico for a while.
Now you from what, Kentucky?
And then I'm looking this up. I'm like, ew, your name is Trevor. You're basic. How can someone that actually flies be so basic?
Like, that was what I was thinking. Like, I'm looking at this dude come out and like the reactions, ho hum, and it's like whatever. I'm like, yo, man, this dude is a generationally great high flyer, and he's just a guy with a shitty theme here. Like, his theme sucks. Why'd they change it? But I'm gonna say that a lot about a lot of these themes tonight. So,
but I feel like the truth is like I've always felt like they really ruined Ricochet. I saw a lot of independent work he did. For all of that, maybe like in the words of Mustafa Ali, maybe they should take a page out of Braun Strowman's book on getting fired.
I mean, this was always my worry about Ricochet going to WWE because, like, if you followed Ricochet's career through the Indies, it was no secret that WWE was where he wanted to go. It was the dream. It's the dream for most pro wrestlers because it was but that was always the main worry about him. Like, he's not the best talker. He's not the biggest guy. He is a fantastic wrestler, but that only gets you so far there when you lack in the other two.
And it's not like WWE really built him up in the first place.
Yeah, so like it was gonna be up to WWE to properly give him the presentation to show off what he's great at, and
Yeah.
they didn't do it. And he is where he is now. But you know, maybe we're in the midst of a rehabilitation project with all these guys, and we'll see. They got this story here with Ricochet and Ali. Ali's taped up with his ribs DDP style because Bobby Lashley killed him on Raw. So Ricochet, they met in the back, and Ricochet was like, "Oh, you sure you want to do this, man? Your career, your life, the future." And Ali's like, "Nah, we're gonna do this, man." And they gave a fist bump, and that's the story of the match. Ricochet doesn't want to hurt Ali too badly, but Ali's making him work for it. He's making him fight. So it builds
But
into
you gotta admire that though.
Yeah. Fighting babyface stuff, and it's textbook. So I mean, I didn't mind it at all. I like this match actually. I thought this was a good match.
I do think it's gonna be Ricochet versus Santos.
Oh, for because that's the next round, right?
So the next round is Santos versus somebody, I forgot.
Oh yeah. Santos is on the other side. The winner of this faces Braun. Yeah. So yeah, Ricochet and Santos for the final.
I don't. It wouldn't be a bad matchup.
That would be a great matchup.
And it's something you normally don't see on TV.
Yeah. So I mean, that'd be an interesting go.
This finishes at War Games, right?
I'm actually not sure because I didn't see they didn't have like the date set up for when they're gonna do the next matches. Like I'm so used to watching AEW, and like when they do like tournaments and shit like that, they'll have like the match, and then when the match is gonna take place under it, like round one of this tournament is on Dynamite. It's on Rampage. With this one is, and I'm not criticizing WWE. I'm just saying.
No, you're spoiled. You're being spoiled right now.
I'm spoiled. Yeah, it's not a criticism. I'm just saying one place does it one way and the other place doesn't do it that way, so it throws me off.
You spoiled.
I am. I guess I am. But yeah, they fight up top. Ali hit a top rope backstabber into the commercial, and then he sold his ribs. It was dope. He went for a dive on the outside, but Ricochet caught him and hit him and rolled through and hit a Michinoku driver on the floor. And then he went for a Phoenix splash, but Ali dodged, put on a Koji clutch. And then Rico comes back with a dragon suplex and a fucking mean spinning lariat. They let Rico work. They was letting these boys work, which I appreciated. He goes up top for the 450, but Ricochet dodges, hits Ali with a shooting star while he's standing up. And Ali crumbles, and Ricochet covers, and he gets the win. And I thought this was a pretty damn good match.
3.
Hazel and Kofi, like we were all on Friday, and we were talking about this match because they were kind of upset about it, I guess. And I do sort of understand it now, having watched it, because you know these are two guys, like I talked about then, in the just two dudes slot, like a lot of people in WWE are in. But in a pocket, I thought this was a very good watch. And in a pocket, you could believe that both of these two are on the way up, because Ricochet won, but Ali looked very valiant in defeat.
He looked strong.
He did. So I thought this was good.
I liked it. Even though I was so mad, I figured out what his name was and everything. At backstage, Jey Uso confronted Sami about his claim that they would win War Game. Jimmy interrupted them, telling Sami to chill out. And then in the recap, there's a recap of the Usos beating the New Day on last week's SmackDown, or because they finally surpassed the New Day's record.
That's another thing I got to get used to when I watch WWE shows, the padding, the recaps. But at least with this one, it's a recap that made sense because they were showing that they beat the record. What? No, go. What were you gonna say?
No, you go first.
No, I was just gonna say I liked about this segment. Jay, after Sami left, he was like, "Oh, you really like him, Oos?" And Jimmy was like, "Yeah, I like him." And then he looked at Solo. He was like, "Yo, you like him?" And then Solo just looked away, like, "I guess he cool."
Yo, Solo don't give a fuck.
Solo don't say shit.
No, in life, be Solo.
Facts. Be solo. Like you in a cut. Don't say too much. You do what you got to do when you got to do it. That's
Smoke a
Solo.
weed on the side and then be late.
That's Solo's whole vibes. He's just in the corner smoking a blunt till he's needed.
So still in backstage, New Day got interviewed over the fact that they were disappointed their record was over. Imperium interrupted, calling Wiz and Kofi clowns, saying that they could restore their honor of their sacred match. They compared Gunther to Lurch from the Addams Family before challenging them to a six-man tag match. Then Emma met Madcap Moss right before he went onto the ring. Moss talked about getting humiliated a couple of weeks ago by Karrion Kross while Emma gave him advice.
Yeah, she was like, "You're more athletic than him, so use your speed." Yo, can we get Emma dancing or something? Why is she just the controller's girlfriend? She could do more than that. I mean, like, yeah, I know they're like dating in real life. So shout out to them, but I don't mean you gotta just have her at his side giving him random advice. Especially considering, let's talk about the next match. Mad Cat's controller boss versus Karrion Kross. This theme is a bullshit third party ass theme. I'll say that for the controller Mad Cat. But Kross's theme is a banger. And shout out to Scarlett Bordeaux. But this is the first time I've seen Kross's entrance since he's been back in WWE.
And, it's like very vaudeville-ish.
They retooled it. I like it more than the NXT one. For anybody who watches this show, they know when Kross is on NXT, I hated his entrance. But this version of it, I don't mind as much. It's significantly less herky-jerky choreography bullshit on the ramp. They saved that for when Scarlett's in the ring and she's doing the fall and pray. It's mostly reliant on like the cool visuals, like the black and white, and then when Kross comes in, it goes to the red. I actually sort of like this version of it. Like I see the vision with this version of the entrance and the theatricality. Like I thought the NXT version was goofy, but this version, I think, all right, I get it. I get what you're going for.
But I became more of a Karrion Kross fan now than I did when he was in NXT.
Yeah. I think he fits main roster WWE better. Like that, the character, his style. I think it all fits main roster better than it did NXT at the time.
Yeah.
But Moss jumped Kross from the bell, which was funny to me because, like, yeah, they're telling this story where like he's all pissed off because Kross beat him up, but he couldn't wait to get his hands on him, except for when he had to wait for Scarlett to do her interpretive dance. Like she did that whole ass entrance, and then he attacked. Kross gets the heat, and Scarlett slaps him while the ref is distracted. That's most of the match. Scarlett like stepping in and shit when the ref is looking away. But it fires him up, and he makes a big comeback, and then Kross powders, and Moss chases, but Scarlett cuts him off, and Kross takes control again. And then Wade Barrett's like, "What can any man do with Scarlett out there?" It's like, bro, he got a whole girlfriend. She could come out and help. Why don't she come out and help?
She can fuck her up.
Like she was just with him in the back. You just showed her. Why she ain't come out? And then
I hope it never turned into that couple versus couple thing because they get so played out so quick.
They do. I'm not saying this because I want this to be a couple versus couple thing, but I'm just saying, like, story wise, if you got a guy fighting a guy and the guy's girlfriend keeps interfering, I know I would want my girlfriend to interfere on my behalf. Like, yo, I can't hit her, so get her.
Like, yeah, fuck her up for me.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, Kross wins with the Kross jacket, chokes him out again, and then after
and then Emma ran out to go check on Moss.
Yeah, now that he's already dead, Emma runs out. Like he needed you 5 minutes ago, girl. But okay.
And then Bray Wyatt made an entrance.
Yeah, I thought this was a Kanye West concert for a second. I thought we was listening to Runaway, but then they showed the Brody Lee door.
You can.
The piano fucked me up. I'm like, yo, is this Runaway?
No, honestly, like it. So, like, since Bray took this more vulnerable persona, me versus myself type thing, I'm still getting used to it. Being that I am a Bray fan, like I like the dark type characters, so this is taking a little to get used to.
Yeah. I'm joking about the theme, but I actually like once I was actually listening to it, I was like, oh no, wait, this is actually kind of fire.
It's a fire theme,
it's a
but
good
just
theme.
the whole character is still taking a lot to get used to.
Yeah. But I will say, like, watching this, I understand that Bray Wyatt and his style of presentation is not everyone's cup of tea. But just looking at this entrance, especially after seeing Kross's entrance, it just shows that there's levels to this theatricality shit in pro wrestling, this gimmicky Undertaker type shit. And
But look exactly what happens when you get money.
yeah, that's my point. There ain't a lot of people better than Bray Wyatt at doing this. Like when he comes out, the crowd is enthralled. They're like, he's a superstar. Like him and Roman Reigns felt like the biggest stars on the show by far.
Oh yeah, because people waited over a year to see Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, and like it, and a lot of that owes to the way that Bray presents himself and the way that WWE presents him. Like that theatricality works for him. So like I understand if some people don't like it, but you can never deny that it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's talking, says, you know, my entire life I've been conditioned to be a certain way. And after such a long time of conditioning, you feel like it's impossible to change. I was taught that fear is respect, but I look at that path that it's left behind me, covered in ashes and blood, and I wonder, why do I do the things that I do? Can I change?
Nope.
Says, nope. He says, if I were LA Knight, I know how I would handle things, and, you know, that makes me sad, man. But I do want to apologize to LA Knight for what I did to him last week. I had a moment of weakness, and I strayed away from my path. So then we get LA Knight's music, and the man comes out. He's like, let me talk to you. Yeah.
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 He says, for 7 days, I've been running it over and over again in my head. Yeah. And it gets me a little hotter every time I think about it. He's another one that's like, watching this, I was like, he fits here. I'm happy to see him here. But he's like, now you're out here apologizing to me, and I'm conflicted. Says you talk about fear and respect, and I'm looking in your eyes, and I can tell that last week, the fact that I didn't fear you, it got me some respect. So I'm not sure what to make of this apology, but I do think that you respect me. And so for that, I just want to step in here. And he walks in and he slaps Bray Wyatt, and he backs out to the apron, and the crowd gets hot, and they're like, yo, get him, Bray, get him. And Bray, he stops, he stares at him for a second, and he's like, all right, fair enough, we're even. I got you, you got me. There's a lot of things I want to do to you right now, but I'm going to fight them urges. And listen, the decision you're about to make right now is going to affect the rest of your life. So you and me, we're even, all right? And he offers his hand to give him a handshake, and LA Knight's looking, and he looks like he's going to do it, but then he slaps him again, and then he runs off the ramp. Yeah. And then he's like, I've been waiting to do that for a week. Yeah. 2 for 1. Yeah. And then Bray Wyatt is given the 1,000-yard stare with the camera right in his face as the segment ends. So, yeah, LA Knight, Bray Wyatt, lore master Bray Wyatt. He's a lore master, so I can't fully lock in because I don't watch week to week. But
doesn't that make you want to see what happened to LA Knight?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. This was a very engaging segment between two very good talkers. So they got something cooking with this feud. This was interesting.
See, so that means I'll see you next week on SmackDown.
No, I didn't say all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to take a little more than that. Yeah.
What about a recap of Shayna Baszler beating the dog shit out of Shotzi?
I ain't going to lie to you. Bully Ronda Rousey was hitting different.
But I think that's what everyone wanted because she wasn't really too good at trying to be a babyface.
Yeah. I like Bully Ronda Rousey. Yeah, they bullied. That's basically what happened. They bullied Shotzi and beat her up.
But somehow Shotzi went through all this.
Yeah. Shotzi was still able to fight through, and then she's gonna wrestle Shayna. The Usos before that they walk up on Kross in the back. They're like, "Hey, Us, you the 5th member?" And Kross is like, "No, I am not a follower. When I take Roman's titles, I will do it on my own, not with a pack." And then they're like, "All right, Us," and they leave.
Because you're not Uzi enough.
You ain't Uzi enough. Shayna versus Shotzi again. Fuck this company. Shayna had one of the best themes, and now she has some bullshit. Some bullshit. And then I'm trying to keep up with this match, and then they won't stop doing camera cuts. Like Shayna took Shotzi over to the corner, and she started stomping her, and then the camera cut like 5 times in 4 seconds, and then it ended up on Ronda, and I was like, I give up. I stopped taking notes. My last,
They kept trying to distract Shotzi. Like,
yeah, that was all that happened in the match. Really, Ronda just kept trying to distract Shotzi, and then Raquel Rodriguez came out. Why didn't she come out with Shotzi? And then Shotzi rolled Shayna up and got the win, and there you go. I don't feel like this did much for anyone, honestly.
I feel like it was just a way for them to make Shayna be more dominant in the thing. I want to see them build up Shayna versus Ronda.
I would like that too, but like Shotzi's wrestling Ronda at the pay-per-view, so they just gave Shotzi a quick win here while Shayna beat her ass. Like that don't make
she's gonna lose at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like this don't interest me in Shotzi versus Ronda. Because Shotzi just got her ass whooped and then eked out a win. So you expect me to believe she not gonna get her ass whooped by Ronda? So that's why I was looking at this like, what am I supposed to take away from this?
Nothing.
But, yeah. Megan Morant is with LA Knight. Yeah. And she's like, are you afraid of Bray Wyatt? Because I noticed you're leaving. He's like, hey, I ain't afraid of nobody. Yeah. You come here asking me these trash questions. Your questions are trash. And that's not an insult. That's a fact of life. Yeah. And while he's talking his shit, there's a spooky guy behind him in the door.
There's a Bray Wyatt mask briefly seen through the door as he left.
Yeah.
And then returning from the commercial break, LA Knight was found on a whole pile of trash shit. Yeah.
So when I watched this, I watched this show today, and I watched it through other means. So when it went, so there was no actual commercial break. Like I knew it was a commercial break because it cut, but it just went straight to when it came back for commercial. So it goes from LA Knight like closing the door, and the very next shot is him dead on the floor, just under a bunch of chairs and shit. I'm like, yo, what? They killed him. It was the funniest transition.
I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yep. So yeah, LA Knight has been murdered by presumably Bray Wyatt.
Leading into a feud.
Yes. And now we got Imperium versus The New Day and Braun Strowman.
Yeah. You want these hands?
You gonna get these hands. I do like the flair that the ring announcer. That's Samantha, right? I'm pretty sure that's Samantha.
Which one?
The ring announcer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the little flair that she puts on Imperium's names. Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci. I like that. I like that she does that.
I mean, they're European names. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I know, because I have a very European Greek name, if I knew that society could say it, I would go out with it more.
Yeah. That's usually the problem. People suck at saying names that aren't just regular American names.
So for them to get like someone taking the effort to do that, like that's quality entertainment right there.
Yeah, it's good. It enhances their presentation and everything. I like that. I ain't never calling them those names, but I liked it. I guess we put him Braun with New Day to get him some brownie points because he was talking stupid shit on Twitter. So they're all brawling. Kofi does the trust fall, but they catch him and then they post him. And then Woods goes for a dive, but Walter chops him. And then Braun runs in and Walter runs away. Whoa, Walter ran away? No, wait, my mistake. Gunther ran away. You got it, WWE. You win. Because that's not Walter. Walter would never, ever run away from any. You could be Jesus Christ himself. Come back to earth. Walter ain't running away from you. He gonna give you these hands. So yeah, that guy in there, that's Gunther. Fair enough, WWE. You got it. So we come back from the break. Woods is getting worked over. He goes to Braun, gets the hot tag. Braun's winning wild. Then Gunther comes in and chops Braun. And then Braun eats it. And then Gunther's like, oh shit. And he runs away. And Braun chases him around the ring. So yeah, this definitely is not Walter. This is Gunther. Crowd was into it though. So I give him that.
Let me ask you a question, right? How do you feel about Braun being back in the picture?
I don't mind. Because it's like he clearly wasn't about to have like some crazy indie run. So
I mean, after opening his own indie platform and then getting it shut down.
yeah, he was out there controlling his narrative. So if that's what he had to offer outside of WWE, yeah, I guess you're better off in WWE. So yeah,
that sucks though.
Yeah.
When you have nowhere to go but WWE because AEW don't want you.
I mean, there's worse situations to be in other than the only place you could feasibly work is the biggest wrestling company in the world.
True.
Yeah. So I mean, good for him. He fits that place. He's a big cartoon. They're a cartoon factory.
Didn't he used to be like a son? What did they used to call those lily pups, flower babies?
What was it they were calling them? Some shit. Yeah, I forgot. But he's a WWE guy, so I don't mind him there. He is where he should be.
I'm about to look this up.
Yeah, Google it. But New Day ends up in the midnight hour. They get the win. Making everyone into a chicken shit heel, even people that like should be badasses or whatever, is easily like one of my least favorite WWE booking crutches. But hey, it is what it is. They doing it here, and if it hypes up, like the people were into this, like I ain't gonna hate too much. So like if this is what makes people hyped for Braun versus Gunther, so be it. So be it. It ain't my show. It ain't my Walter. So
he ain't my Walter.
Ain't my Walter. Ain't no Walter in mine.
That's not your president?
Not my president. Not my ring general. I'll tell you that.
Not my ring general.
Yeah. But Caleb Braxton's fine ass is with Braun Strowman in the back. Braun says he's very much looking forward to taking that title off of Gunther. But Ricochet walks up and says, hey man, if you don't focus, these little flippy floppers that you were talking about are gonna take you out. And of course, they're spinning off that tweet of Braun's where he's talking about how the flippy floppers suck or whatever. And I think it's crazy that they're gonna have Ricochet call him out on that. Ricochet better beat him because if like Ricochet calls out Braun for the flippy flopper shit and then loses to him, how the hell does that make Ricochet look?
Oh man. Now that I think about it, if the matchup is Ricochet versus Braun and then Butch versus Santos Escobar, I could believe Santos Escobar is gonna be there. I don't know about Ricochet though. Yeah. If Braun is the one that he's facing in the World Cup, and I'm not gonna lie, I really like that idea. How they really trying to like go alongside. Damn, I dropped my phone. How they went alongside the World Cup.
Yeah.
I like that they're acknowledging it and doing like their own version of it to boost SmackDown's morale.
Yeah, I do like the World Cup, and I do like that they actually did like have an international day. It's like there's 2 Americans, but the roster is mostly American, so I think that's fair. But the rest is all people like you saw the flags and everything. Like,
well, Chuck is American too.
Yeah. But I mean, as like a representative country, like I did like that. I do like that they're doing that with the World Cup.
Yeah,
and I like that it's for an intercontinental title shot. Like I like that they're doing this tournament and putting so much importance on the intercontinental title because that's what they should do.
Yeah, because they don't do that to their mates.
Yeah, and like just watching that last match, like it seems like if I had to guess, I think Braun is going to win it because that whole last match was about them building up Braun and Gunther as a match. So,
yeah, damn. Then that goes my whole theory about Santos Escobar now.
I mean, listen. If it were up to me, I'd prefer Santos, but just based off what I have watched here, it seems like Braun is the guy. It looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event.
Man, Tevin, I love when you talk like that, beef. Smooth announcer talk.
Yeah, got to throw in that Mark Henry announcer shtick.
I
Um,
actually can't believe we already at the main event.
yeah, flew through this.
It really
Um,
flew by.
yeah.
But we do have a lot to look forward to for next week. We got Braun Strowman versus Ricochet, Butch versus Santos Escobar, Shotzi and Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Usos War Games Advantage match.
Okay. Yeah, that is. Especially, based off this card, that's a logical progression point. So, yeah, good shit. But yeah, main event here, SmackDown World Cup first round. Sami Zayn versus Butch, aka Peter Dune. It's UK versus Canada. Um, and then for the last time tonight, I will say something must be done about these WWE themes, yo. Like this is
WWE what? I'm sorry.
something must be done about these WWE themes. They're all so bad. They're all so generic. Like
What happened to? Didn't the original guy that was doing the scene died or something, or they just got rid of him?
So yeah, Jim Johnston was the OG guy, and they let him go, and then it was CFO Money, and they had like some good songs for a long
Yeah,
time.
'cause
They were doing good songs, and then
CFO did the original Kevin Owens. CFO did the
Mhm.
original Shield, and the one and the Page one because I have that as my ringtone.
Yep. That whole era, basically anybody that like came up from NXT or whatever around that time, they have a CFO theme. But then CFO left, and now I think the new guys are Def Rebel, and they are very hit and miss, more miss than hit. I gotta say.
So who had the better theme? SmackDown or AEW?
AEW easily. God damn. The Young Bucks came out to Kansas on Sunday.
True.
Like it's not even close. This shit is like watching Nitro and hearing the NWO theme 20 times. Only it's not the NWO theme, it's fucking original theme 20 times. Shit sucks. Shit is
Listen, you
brutal.
technically could apply for WWE jobs. You know this, right? It's literally on Indeed.
Yo, that's what we gonna do. Me and Six is gonna get in the lab and help them. They need help.
You know how many times because we're wrestling fans, right? People will send me this shit on Indeed. I'm like, I clearly know I don't have enough experience to do this. I'm gonna apply anyways.
Yeah.
I've gotten rejected before, but y'all could actually get away with it.
Do what a lot of other people do. Lie on your resume. Just lie.
Oh yeah, I got 15 plus years in world wrestling entertainment experience.
Yeah, I got 25 years experience in the pro wrestling industry.
I remember when Mick Foley chopped his ear off. I had to been like a sperm, like an embryo at that time.
I was there when Foley faced Vader for the world title, WCW. But yeah, so this match is going. Pete Dunne tries to yank Sammy's nose up top, and then Sami sends him crashing to the floor, and we go into commercial. But right before we go to commercial, you just hear Jey Uso go, "Damn, he took you out, homie." We come back.
Because he's gonna be that instigator.
Yeah, Jey, he was out there instigating. He don't even like Sami, but he was out there like, "Hey, whooping your ass." Oops.
He wasn't feeling a noosey.
Yeah. But yeah, Sami hits a Blue Thunder bomb for you guessed it, a 2 count. He don't ever win with that move. Then the Brutes and the Bloodline, they all start brawling outside. Dunn breaks Sammy's fucking fingers and then takes the Usos out with a moonsault. Then Sheamus, he throws Jey into the ring, and that distracts Sami. Sammy's like, "Jey, what are you doing?" Like, I guess he thinks Jey is like fucking with him again because Jey's always fucking with him. But it was an accident. But it distracts Sami, and then Pete Dunne hits the bitter end, and he gets the 1, 2, and 3. Butch advances, and the bell rings. Pete Dunne is like, "I win," and Solo Sikoa kicked him in the face. You ain't win shit. Fuck you. And the brawl continues. They're all brawling in the ring, and then Roman Reigns.
The Tribal Chief came out.
Mm-hmm.
Put your ones up.
The whole crowd just stopped paying attention to the fight. They're all looking at the ramp. Like, oh, it's Roman Reigns. The dude is a megastar, yo.
Like, you remember the time where he wasn't and like he was here beating up Triple H and all of that just so he could get his respect?
It like, no lie, like when I watch this shit and I see Roman Reigns come out, like it genuinely impresses me how far he's come. Like
I could, because remember he like with all the movesets he really has for him to advance like this, especially talking wise, because he couldn't talk in the beginning for shit.
For shit. He really is everything they were trying to make him back then, everything they were pretending he already was, he really is that now. Like he has come a very long way.
And
Like,
you know that Friday they celebrated the anniversary of the Shield.
yeah, Cole said it on commentary. He was like, he's running roughshod just like he did 10 years ago today when the Shield debuted. I was like, there you
Because
go, Cole.
they talked about it on SmackDown, and Seth Rollins was talking about it on ESPN literally about 40 minutes before with Rosenberg.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it like I said on I think Friday. I'm not ready for Shield nostalgia. Shield nostalgia makes me feel old. Like, because listen, I remember when they debuted. I was an adult watching pro wrestling then. I was watching it, man. And now we talk about it's been 10 years since the Shield.
I've
That's
been
crazy.
watching wrestling for about 8 years because I think I started watching again. Remember that Royal Rumble where Rusev was hiding under the rope, under the mat, where The Rock came out?
Oh yeah.
That was like that era of time I had started rewatching it, right? Because I wasn't allowed to watch it much as a kid, so I would watch it with my godfather whenever I can. So we're talking about a good 8 years or so. And he went from having The Rock save him to like having people acknowledge him wherever he goes.
Yeah. Like, listen, man. Yeah, like when they tried to, it's gonna like when he does face Rock and he beats him, they are definitely gonna post that juxtaposition of Rock raising his hand back then in 2015, and then him standing over Rock or whatever, at Hollywood or whenever they have the match, to show how far this dude has come, because he really has. He really has. So, shout out to Roman. But he and Sheamus are brawling, and then the camera starts cutting again, and then I stop caring. And then
He
Roman's,
for the spear.
yep, he's setting up for the spear, but then Kevin Owens' music hits. He comes out to a big pop, and I started laughing because like I wrote earlier, so it's probably Kevin Owens. It is Kevin Owens. He is the fifth guy.
I'm not gonna lie, I was happy though, because like I said, I'm a Kevin Owens fan. So the fact that he came back was like, yes.
Yeah,
Can
no,
I
he's a
can
great
I
pick.
see Roman versus Kevin for a little bit again? I'd be okay with this.
Yeah, he's a great pick.
Like Kevin won't win. I know this. He's not gonna be the guy to take it off Roman.
Yeah. The crowd was with him though. Crowd was all about Kevin Owens in this pocket.
Because everyone was all about Logan Paul too, until Logan Paul broke like his whole leg.
Right, doing that buckshot. Yeah, not Hangman Adam Page. All right, it was an impressive. It was.
Don't do it with a selfie either.
Yeah, it was an impressive attempt. I will give him that. Like he actually did a quite a good buckshot. But
I thought he was stupid for doing it with the selfie.
Oh, the selfie. I actually thought the selfie elbow drop, I can't even lie, was fire. Like, those are the only two spots I've seen from that match, by the way. Him doing the buckshot and the selfie elbow drop.
I was like, are you trying to get hurt?
Yeah. But I mean, he built for this. Can't take that away from him. He showed up.
He did.
Yeah, so can't take that away from him. But yeah, I think Kev and Sami getting to do war games together is dope. Like, anytime Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because I'm such big fans of those guys, anytime they get to like do something of significance like this, I always think it's really cool.
I mean, I hope Kevin fucks him up.
Yeah, they had a whole big stare down in this match, and like Sami was shocked. And which, like, I don't know why. You should have expected Kev as soon as Sheamus was like, "You're never gonna expect it." Like, that was the tip right there. It's Kevin Owens. Because it's wrestling. You're never going to expect them. All right, so who's the most obvious choice for this? Kevin Owens. It was Kevin Owens.
I mean, but they also reported like on Twitter that fucking Kevin Owens was in Connecticut.
Yeah, so I didn't know I didn't know he was gone. So, but he's back.
Well, he was gone for a while. I forgot why.
Yeah.
Like that he didn't want to fight. Like they be screw. Not that they screw him over, but they be not knowing what to do with Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Well, they put him in a big spot here, and
so let's hope it's actually fruitful, though.
Yeah. Let's hope it pays dividends. Come War Games and beyond. But at SmackDown, KO hits Roman with the stunner. The teams are standing. Babyface team is standing tall, looking over at the Bloodline, and that's how we end the show. I thought about this show that it was not bad. But I do think it had the same problem that most WWE shows have, in that you get beat down through filler and padding, and
I liked it when it was less filler than more fighting.
yeah, like that's the thing that I always have to like get used to when I watch a weekly WWE show again. There's gonna be a lot of talking and recaps and segments, and
I actually stayed awake through it.
yeah. I was able to stay away. It took me longer, like, because I took little breaks here and there, but I got through. But yeah, it's just there's so much downtime on a WWE show. It's like, man. But when it's going, it was actually good. Like, I like the tournament. I like LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. The
I'm
Ricochet
very
LA
interested
Knight
to
was
see
good.
what happens with that.
Man, so there's definitely good stuff on the show and stuff to like sink your teeth into. So it was decent enough, solid.
It was a good. It kept me entertained. It wasn't where it was. I don't regret sitting there 2 hours on Friday to watch it.
Yeah, if I come away from it and I was like, all right, I don't regret that. I don't feel like I wasted my time watching that, and I
Yeah,
don't.
I
And
think LA Knight did it for me though.
yeah, LA Knight, yeah, like
Raw.
he looks very comfortable in a WWE promo setting, which I always thought he would, but to see it in action was like, yep, it clicks, it works, it was the right move. So I did like that. So yeah, the SmackDown,
It was SmackDown shit.
that is what SmackDown for the week.
SmackDown on SmackDown.
Yes,
The good, the bad, the ugly.
the good, the bad, the who booked this shit, and fortunately, not too much who booked this shit.
Thank God.
Yeah. Avoiding that, because all the who booked this shit is why I'm a part timer on these WWE parts, but less of that
Listen, if
these days,
Six
frankly.
could fix his schedule, you'll be less of a part timer.
Yeah, because Six is already kind of watching it again. So if he gets back in, then there you go. But I guess until that point, I can pop in here and there for these SmackDowns, as long as they got some decent stuff going on. No Bailey on this show, unfortunately, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's not the same.
That's okay. She's gonna be on Raw tonight probably, so I'll check that.
And then you're gonna eventually see her, so you got this.
Yeah. We straight.
So
yeah.
where can they find us?
Yeah, you already know where to find us. Find us on Instagram at Ramblemania Show and at Banter Club Podcast. Find us on Twitter at Ramblemania. Facebook.com/Ramblemania Show. Also find our group there, Ramblemania Show's Banter Club, where we and the other wrestlers, podcasters, everybody that we associate with post all our goings on and all that's going down. As far as audio goes, wherever audio is found, that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, TuneIn, Overcast. Everywhere your podcasts are found, search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. As far as the visuals, twitch.tv/Ramblemania Show. We're on Spotify video. We're on YouTube. Search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. When you get here, like the videos, click subscribe, click the bell, so that when a new content drops, it goes straight to you.
Yeah.
As for me personally, find me on Instagram at TJ the Great One. That's TJ the GR, the number 8, the number 1. And find me on Twitter at TJ the Great. That's TJ the GR, the number 8. It's as simple as that.
What's up, world? Your homegirl Ivy. You can follow Raw Zone everywhere at www.rawzonenyc.com and everywhere at Raw Zone NYC. Search Welcome to the Raw Zone on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartMedia, and more. Catch us on Elgin Sound Radio. Tuesdays, catch us on Pulso 82.3. Wednesdays. For myself, you can follow me everywhere at IamIvy.xo_.
And that's that. So with that said,
take a fight.
And a good night.
And a too sweet.
Too sweet to you.
Sweet tea.